Hey guys, it's Ken Scott, Senior, U.S. Immigration Law Intelligence Analyst with Triple W, USEntryWaiverServices.com, and we get you guys cleared to enter the USA. Today is December 31st, 2023. So I'm here in Victoria, British Columbia, if anyone cares. You can see Parliament out there. So this room is a bit of a mess, though. Embarrassed to show you guys, but oh well, it is what it is. So yeah, so just here on a little holiday. But anyway, the point of this video is on our channel, someone had a question. So we said we were going to address this. Question is, can you marry a US citizen once you have a waiver? And can you become a USA citizen or permanent residence in America? Next video, please. Now, there's a couple of different things with this question, guys. So let's break the question down in different parts. Can you marry a US citizen once you have a waiver? And let's stop right there. You can marry a US citizen. Let's say you're Canadian. You can marry a US citizen even before you have a waiver. So the waiver doesn't give you the guarantee or right to marry a US citizen. So you don't need a waiver to marry a US citizen. So let's get that out of the air, right now. You do not need a waiver to marry a US citizen. So that case, you guys are good to go. So, but again, it says, can you marry a citizen once you have a waiver? And can you become a USA citizen or permanent residence in USA? Now, let's address that part of the question. Yes, you can still marry the US citizen. The problem you're going to run into, let's say you have a waiver for car theft. Back in 1999, you stole a car in Surrey, and now you still live in Surrey. And because that car theft from then makes you inadmissible to USA, fine, great. So you have your waiver. Then you meet a girl in Seattle. She wants to marry you. You can still marry her. You have a waiver. The problem you're going to run into is when she does a sponsorship. Because you've got that non-immigrant waiver, is likely going to cause you problems getting your sponsorship. This is one reason why we try to get you guys out of needing waivers, because these waivers can really fuck up your lives, to be blunt. And these discount waiver companies keep pushing these waivers. Some of you guys are cheap out and get these waivers, think it's no big deal. This is how you guys get bit in the ass in the end, because the fact that you got this waiver is going to interfere with your sponsorship. This non-immigrant waiver, no I-192. So then what's going to happen is you're likely going to need the I-601 waiver, the immigrant waiver. But in that waiver, you got to demonstrate hardship. This is where it gets tricky, guys. You got to show the American government that if your sponsorship, well, if your waiver does not get approved, your green card sponsorship is not approved, that it's going to be a hardship for you and your wife. Now, what's a hardship? That's a whole different topic, for another video. It can be really tricky demonstrating hardship, guys. It's not just say, oh, hardship is I'm not with my wife. That won't fly, because their mindset is, oh, well, she can move with you to Canada. So they got a special formula how they calculate hardship. I kind of don't really want to go into it because the discount waiver companies are going to try to reverse engineer this. We know the formula, and this is the reason why we tell you guys, be careful and stop trying to get a waiver if you don't need it, because it's going to screw you up in the future. If you don't need this waiver, it's going to screw up your possible future immigration status regarding green card sponsorship. So this actually happened, and this person's sponsorship got denied because, well, in his case, they found, I don't want to tell too much stuff. I'll just say they found a stolen car in his garage. It wasn't the car at all, but they found a stolen car in his garage, let's just say. His sponsorship actually got denied here recently, and he got placed in removal proceedings, and he's being deported back here. And he understands that, and he owned up to it. It's a crappy thing. And he didn't realize the fact that having that stolen car will cause him so many problems in life. So he cannot get a green card from the wife. There's ways around that, but he cannot get a green card through the wife. Now, let me tell you guys how to get around that. And I don't mind telling you guys this because the discount waiver companies, they can't reverse engineer this. So let's just say I'm that individual. I cannot get a US waiver. My wife in Seattle is upset. So what do I do? You say, Ken, what do you do? Well, it's simple. Well, simple for us. I see that grocery store. I see that, I don't know, farm. I see that liquor store. I buy that liquor store or the farm or whatever. I get an E2 investor visa and I make sure my waiver allows for that. That's a separate video for that. And because of the fact that I purchased that farm or that liquor store in Seattle, I go through the E2 visa process. And as long as I keep my waiver current, keep that liquor store open, and be on my best behavior, I am allowed to be down there in the USA and with her. So I'm under a separate visa category. It just so happens that a U.S. citizen wife there in Seattle. So when I come home from the liquor store every night or whatever, or however, I come home every night, I'm still coming home to the wife, even though I'm in the U.S. as a visa in the liquor store. So if I keep that store open 50 years, keep this waiver valid, don't reoffend, I can technically be with the spouse. That's kind of like a back doorway. It's a workaround for that. So that's a really, really good method. The downfall, guys, it's going to cost you this. And I'm not saying for me, it's going to cost you this because you got to have that money to invest in that business. Now, I don't know what a liquor store goes for, but let's say 200,000. I just tossed that out in the air. I got to invest 200,000 in this liquor store right here. But once this money is invested and it's at risk, blah, 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 it's a process for that too. This is the liquor store. I've already invested the money, salaries, got vendors, merchants, blah, blah, blah. Then I apply for the E2 visa. Then I have to make sure my waiver is also valid for that. So it's not that easy. You got some hoops you have to jump through. But once I jump through all those hoops and the money's already at risk, and the embassy officer says, you know what? I understand that you have a non-immigrant waiver. It's valid. You've invested the money. I'm satisfied with what you spent. I get the visa. That's how you get around it. But I make it sound easier than what it actually is, guys, in all honesty. So now, also tying into that question, let's just say I don't need a waiver. My conviction is for possession of a machine gun in Surrey, let's just say. So because I'm not inadmissible, but just because I possess that machine gun, that AK in Surrey, I don't technically need a waiver. Now, when I apply for U.S. citizenship, depending upon the crime, some crimes, even though you don't need a waiver, some crimes make you inadmissible in terms of getting U.S. citizenship, or not, I should say not eligible to obtain U.S. citizenship, depending upon the crime. So you guys just be careful with these crimes. You guys, whatever you got to do to not get convicted, you guys got to do that. And stop listening to these discount waiver companies saying, oh, get you a waiver, get you a waiver. A waiver is like a leash, and you're the dog. CBP is the handler, the canine handler. If they tell you to sit, you sit. They tell you to stand, you stand. If they say lay down, roll over, you do what they say. That leash, that waiver is your leash. So, I mean, if you need the waiver, yeah, you need it. But guys, if you don't need the goddamn waiver, don't apply for the waiver. Or if you qualify for the lifetime clearance, come to us. We can sort that out. And we purposely don't put things on here about the lifetime clearance. Like I said, these discount waiver companies keep trying to reverse engineer our material and trying to, remarket it. They do anything they can to keep the lights on. And for us, our business is booming. In fact, we actually have too many people with too many clients, because the fact that it allows, and I showed you guys this already, it allows me, when I travel for business, whatever, to have nice places like this. So we have way too many clients. So we're probably going to raise our rates actually in January because we got to cut down some of this business. It's ridiculous. Anyway, so don't want to bore you guys. So again, I'm trying to get out of the sun here. Yeah. So, guys, be careful about these waivers. I mean, if you need a waiver, you need it. But if this is your situation, give us a shout at 604-562-8140. And you guys read the description. We usually have our contact info in the bottom. So we can definitely get around this issue. But if you guys want to be a U.S. green card holder, permanent residence, you got to be on your best behavior. You got to. And you got to, you go down to that border. You guys, you guys do what you want. Another thing, you guys go to that border, you start having diarrhea of the mouth, saying stuff like, "Oh, I am now 10 years clean and sober." I don't know why you guys say that to the border guards. And I guess you guys feel proud about it, but you guys don't understand. The minute you say 10 years clean and sober, he says, "Oh, what do you mean clean and sober?" You say, "Oh, well, I used to, you know, do some rails or whatever, some sniff." You guys just make yourself inadmissible to the USA and need a waiver. And then you might not even be able to get the green card sponsorship because you just told the guard that you do the sniff. If you say, well, clean and sober, meaning I'm no longer an alcoholic, you guys could still render yourself inadmissible in a different category. It's the physical or mental physical or mental disorder or drug abuser slash addict category. So I'm trying to simplify it as much for you guys, just, so because this stuff can get boring. So you guys gotta start using some common sense when you're down at this border. These U.S. officers are not your friends. I worked for the American government. I was a federal officer myself, and I was a law enforcement officer and trainer, and previously stationed in Washington State. So a lot of the stuff we used to enforce back in the day, and I don't want to bore you guys with that, but I also worked for the U.S. Defense Department previously as well. So, but that's a whole different topic. Anyway, Ken Scott, Senior, U.S. Immigration Law Intelligence Analyst with www.usentryWaiverServices.com, and it's 888-908-3841 or 604-562-8140. You guys have a happy, well, I'm going to say happy Christmas. You guys have a great New Year's Eve. I'm still tired from partying from last night, so please forgive me. But as I always say, the words of my Vulcan colleague, live long and prosper. I don't know if I even did it right. So